All right, back to part two here. They gave me a 10-minute max on my screen record there for my Google Drive. Anyhow, so 8 to 12 repetition max, 3 sets can be a little bit exhausting on this program. That's quite a bit. It's not awful, but we kind of want to watch this a little bit. So not going too much there. Anyhow, so not a bad program overall. Things that I want to recapture here at the backside of this is we're going to have an athlete in seventh and eighth grade movement competency. We want squat, hinge, lunge, push, pull. Okay, what do our hips look like? What does our film look like? What's our speed, jump, sprint mechanics all look like? How's our body moving? Do we have good hip lift? Do we have good knee and hip mobility? Do we have good technique mastery before we start adding a bunch of load with this, right? Because we're trying to hit a fatigue load with 8 to 15 reps, 8 to 12 reps, but if we're doing it improperly, it can kind of create pain. So I thought something good were some red flag things to look out if I was a parent. Do we have any pain, right? Knee joint, hip pain, back pain. Listen for those things. We don't want a whole bunch of maxing out lifting. It's okay to establish some baselines of what the max repetitions can be, but we don't really need to max out. Constant year-round single sport participation with athletes if they're doing this stuff. Um, and then really avoiding and neglecting that proper technique. So I would say big goal at this stage is develop a durable athlete, a confident one that has a good, strong foundational function. And this is what we do a lot of times with my athletes at the gym when they come in for sports performance. We make sure their technique looks proper with sprinting, squatting, plyometrics, and jumping. Really honing in on those deficiencies and making sure it looks good with that so that by the time they get into high school, they can start to tolerate proper lifting form, tolerate lifting load, and have fewer lifting injuries. There's a couple more things I wanted to look on here with that on as a holistic concept. So I mentioned knee pain, ankle injuries, shoulder injuries, low back pain. We kind of summarize those a little bit. I have some other check boxes here that I'm kind of looking at that I made. We talked about specialization. Oh, yeah, I didn't really see a lot of dynamic warm up in this. What's your dynamic warm up? I don't know, pick your favorite. I have an entire list of body mechanic things my athletes go through. So maybe takes 4 to 7 minutes max so that they can properly have their entire body moving before they do go to lift. Uh, I think 2 to 3 days a week would probably be my cap. So there's a 4 day thing going on here. I would probably split some things up in this. I recently had another parent reach out. I think they're in eighth grade, and they wanted a 4 day program, and I really struggled to get everything I wanted in 4 days safely. So I kind of watered it down to 2 or 3 days, and then on the fourth day, they're with me doing some technique work with all that. So once again, reviewing that seventh, eighth grade program, trying to make sure this is safe for an athlete. This isn't an awful program going forward. It's a great start. Be cognizant of pain, injuries, weaknesses, proper lifting form. Yeah, not a bad pain, not a bad setup generically. So reach out, and if you have any questions here in Great Bend, Kansas, off of Ninth and Madison inside the field house, always welcome to answer questions. This was kind of fun to do. I sort of did this cold turkey, so hopefully it helps somebody out. Hopefully it helps the parent out. Anyhow, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.